Oh,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sacred Wisdom Circle. You found your way. Here we are. We remember that we here we are, and we are remembering what the world has asked us to forget, that we are not broken, that we are light. And I am so happy to be here with all of you. We've had this has been a big energy week
yeah.
around the world. We look at, the earthquakes and everything that have been happening. There is stuff going on. So let's check in. Alana, how are you doing, girl?
I'm doing well, but like you said, it's definitely been an energetic week. People I'm connecting with are saying the same thing. I was on a call on Tuesday or Wednesday. Anyway, yeah, Tuesday, and we're all like, "Oh, it's been heavy." Like literally, that's been the repeated theme all week with everybody I'm talking to. It's like it feels heavy. It feels like draining energy. Not bad, but just a lot.
Mhm. Mhm. Angela,
Hmm.
how are you doing?
Well, aside from the fact that these early mornings are kind of accumulating to, as I was saying just now, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm awake and can't get back to sleep. So aside from that, I actually had a really good week. Um, I had a lot shifting, a lot landing, um, very much in terms of the direction of where we're heading with responsible citizenship and business and how
Exciting.
businesses are showing up or how businesses should be showing up. We've got a lot of stuff going on the African continent, and particularly here in South Africa. It's actually not pleasant right now. There's a lot of xenophobic stuff going on, and it's really not pleasant at all. Um, and it's a lot around what people are referring to as so-called undocumented people coming in or that are in the country from other countries. And of course, the media is doing its thing, and government's doing its thing, and it's all around fear, and it's about scarcity of resources, and it's just not very pleasant. So I'm not getting kind of caught up in that in the sense that where can we shed the light? Where can we do to counteract that energy? So the heaviness hasn't been kind of for me, it's been around in the
Mhm.
environment. Um, and so, yeah, I wonder whether humanity is ever going to learn. I mean, we're still dealing with things that have been happening for centuries with the energy not having shifted. And
Mhm.
it's what is it going to take for people just to remember to be human and to recognize the humanity in other people? So that's the kind of stuff that heaviness out there. Although I must say again, I've had an amazing week.
That's good.
All
That's
of the
good.
shifts
Yes.
for you, but it's like you said, I think the humanitarian issue is something that's coming to a forefront for lots, right?
And I don't think it's
Mhm.
only endemic to South Africa. I think it's all over
Mm.
around the world. I mean, I just, looking at the parallels between what's going on in the US and what's going on here, and things like visas being shut down and people being told to, the same energy is happening in the States as what's happening here.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
when can we get to, and I think again, this is where the feminine energy is so, so desperately needed because it is about transcending this almost warlike vibration and this polarizing. This affects women, it affects men, it affects children, it affects the elderly. And so, yeah, I think for me, just a whole heap of compassion
Mm.
and for both. Compassion for the people who have to think and live in scarcity and engender fear on others. And then those that are falling falling prey to this horrible energy. So,
Mm.
we do what we can where we can
Mhm.
to make a difference.
Absolutely. Oh, wow.
And you're
Checking
right,
with
Angela, that energy is across the universe. I met with a friend of mine for coffee, and both him and he was the gentleman who curated the India trip, and he said like things have really slowed down for him. I know it has slowed down for me considerably, and it's we're not in a panic. I've learned not to panic. In these times, it's like okay, the universe is ebbing and flowing, but it's amazing that globally, everybody is being impacted by what's going on. It's not one area anymore, you know what I mean? And I don't think it ever was. I think it's a situation, and I never believed it ever was, but a lot of people think it's just them or in their area, and it's like, "No, this is a global thing. There is global shifting going on." You know,
Mhm.
the Earth Mother is supporting that with the earthquakes that are going on.
Yeah.
The universe is shaking things up. I mean,
Mhm.
quite literally, and figuratively. And so it's holding the space of love. Literally, that's kind of what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and what I'm like being them in my own personal situation being pressed to do. I mean, my emotions were all over the map this morning because
Mm.
I've been, talking to people about our situation and the gentleman that's been with us with cancer. And, you know, this isn't the right place for care for him. I've been speaking that for 2 months, and it's been falling on deaf ears. And I understand that everybody's got a journey and has to grow through their learning spurts. So being able to manage the holding space, my girlfriend said, it's like, okay, now I can let out a bit of a sigh of relief. It's unfortunate that it's come to this point where he's in the hospital now, but it's an element of I can breathe a little bit differently now, right? I've held space for as long as I have. And I think that's why the universe has slowed things down for me personally because of everything that's going on. And so it's like, all right, yes, breathe. I had a
Mm.
bath before I got on with you guys, just chilled. So, simple things like that can really help us
Mhm.
doing
Yeah.
during these times.
We have
That's a
a
good
we have
point.
a thing here. I don't know if you guys have it, but it has been said that when America sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. Uh,
Ah, I love that.
it, so yeah, bundle up, snuffles and
Mm.
sniffles all over the world, and
Yeah.
it has to come up to be cleared.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't
And
surface and it
that's it. Like
continues.
when you think about what a cold is, it's a releasing and it's removing from something that's coming through, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
that's
it's
the
not
other
quite.
thing that
Mm,
sorry,
go
Angela.
ahead.
That's the other thing that I'm noticing with people, the people in their illnesses that are surfacing, and they seem sudden for a lot of people, but it's really talking to them about the fact that you're releasing something that you've been storing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what about you,
Well,
Eunice?
we had solstice last weekend, which, truly I'm getting a lot of messages around the fact that um, we are now in the words coming through for me are we are now in a renaissance of light. We are returning to light. We are like in a resurrection, a rising, and with that is a lot of like shimmy and shaking and
Yeah.
rattling that's going on. And so and that being in our physical bodies as well as the earth and lives. Everything is coming to the surface. And what we're being guided to, and what I started really focusing on Monday was this whole renaissance of light. Like, let's just blast the light out into
Yes.
social media, into the world, and focus on that. And just, you know, we've been carrying so much heaviness and stress and urgency, and people are ready to say, "Oh my gosh, let me put this down for a while and
Yeah.
just be in the light." And, even through all that stress and anxiety, joy is still there. It's still available for us. It's what we choose. And a lot of people think that, lightness is, well, you're not being serious enough. You're not grounded, you're being naive, but it's like, no, that's not true. In light, we're not disconnected from reality. You know, true lightness is leadership. Light
Mhm.
is power. It's not fragile. And so right now, like I started this on Monday because I've been hearing these words for the past month and I didn't have time. Like, I'm in the middle of a 21-day
Yeah.
recording
Challenge.
challenge. Can we just slow this down? Yeah, it's like, no, I don't
Right.
say slow down because I think, oh, abundance, all these messages. It's beautiful. But yeah, definitely. I thought, okay, now is the time. We're going to start. We're going to start like just blasting this light out in social media and on my Instagram. I am running it like a program, but I am just, putting these messages out in reels and lives. And let's just focus on light and what we are visioning in because I feel like now is very important. And I just read before I came on from Pam Gregory had reposted somebody else's experience of, the illnesses that were coming up, stomach flu and stuff like that, and how they received this message of, well, there is a bigger energetic flux coming in than what was anticipated. So from the solstice through this week, this big, big energy is flooding in and it's like, let's embrace it. Let's let it move out of our bodies. I know
Yeah.
I don't know if I shared with you guys last week, but I've been like dealing with hives. And
Oh,
so
no.
yeah, like, and I think it's a lot of, nerves and stuff going on here, but also obviously something's coming out of my body. And so I've
Yeah.
been like, I went back, and got some more black seed oil and some more, vitamins that would help restore that. And so I'm just seeing it as, well, let's get this out. Let's get it out and move forward into this light. And it's a big day in my world. We are launching the book that I am an author in. One of my stories.
Yay.
Yeah, Ignite Resilience launches today. So go get your copy on Amazon. You get it for free. You can click on the link that says purchase. I forget what it says, but click the link that on the bottom, not the Kindle one, but the bottom one where you get the actual free copy. Um, and yeah, and if you love it, send us a review. So that's exciting too. So
We'll
I
put the link in the comments below.
oh, thank you. I am like, well, it's just Amazon. So wherever
Yeah.
you are in the world, go to Amazon and look for Ignite Resilience. Um, I'm like you, Angela. I've had actually a really good week of things moving forward. Like women stepping up and joining my program. So it's like, and people coming, they say keep going because they're watching, even if you don't hear from them.
Mhm.
Well, these people that I know from like few years ago are coming forward and joining that haven't been in my programs at all. So it's like one of those very interesting, like, oh, okay, they are listening.
Well, and plus,
They
like
are
you said,
connecting.
you're out there putting a light out there, right? So you're
Yeah.
shining the light.
Yeah. So I think it's really beneficial for all of us to send love to these places that are going through so much struggle and that, but we don't need to engage in it or, hold that light, like you said, Pamela, hold the light and expand it and focus on the joy in your life because that's, going to help it grow and expand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
I see you thinking, Angela.
Um,
I know.
I've been
I was
reading
thinking
the
the same
most
thing.
amazing. I've been reading the most amazing, amazing, amazing book. I think it was you, Janice, who said when you put into to AI into ChatGPT, create a book list and a movie list for you. I
Yeah.
did the same.
Yeah.
And one of the books that came out for me, which has been it's been absolutely life changing. I'd have to just get the author's name right. It's called Braiding Sweetgrass,
Oh, I
and
have that one. I love that book.
it is mind bringing, blowing, mind blowing.
Yeah,
Uh,
she just oh,
your Robin Wall Kimmerer is the author. Put it in
mhm.
the chat. What a life, what a book. She's a botanist, a professor of botany. She hails from the First Nations, and she's woven scientific botany into the Native American Indian teachings around plants and plant medicine. What? It's had me tripping all over the place. It is mind blowing. And what it's doing is if I take what she's teaching in her book and apply it into the world of business, it's blown my mind around the difference of what we can do in terms of building organizations. So this whole thing, she talks about we're emerging, and this is part of the transition and change that we're going through. She was talking about, and I don't even know how I get there. I read something and it gives me a prompt, and I went down this wonderful scenic journey this week and last week around. I don't know if I spoke about it last week because my memory between last week and this week, I can't even remember what we said last week. And it moves from the move that we're moving through is from monocultures, which is hierarchical, it's patriarchal, it's the top down, it's all of that stuff, into polycultures, which are
Mm.
communal. And just the naming convention that came out around polycultures has just been just incredible. And I had this kind of experience with the First Nations teachings in between about 2001, 2002, which gave birth to the original vision that I got for this business that keeps me on my toes. And this is like a second spiral 23 years later with another layer of new teaching coming in from the First Nations. And it's just, ah, I feel like I'm walking on, I feel like I'm tripping. I really do. I mean, not that I've ever smoked marijuana or anything, but whatever it is, it's really cool. I'm enjoying it.
Honestly,
Yeah,
Phil, like when I read that book, and honestly, you reminded me of it. I'm like, I haven't finished that book. I would just pick it up and read a chapter every once in a while. It's very soothing. And I find I move into a whole different space
yeah,
after I've read a chapter of her book. It's very um grounding. It's very grounding. It's
incredible.
beautiful.
The one story that she speaks of, I don't know if you've actually gone and had a look at them. She talks about the pigeon family and I think they are in Canada, who they harvest black ash trees, and from the black ash trees, they make baskets. It's unbelievable what these baskets actually look like. Um, and the weaving of them. And I watched one of the videos where they have a class of teaching people how to make the baskets. And it's so interesting because they hammer these long pieces of wood that come from the black ash trees, obviously going through all the ceremonies to release the tree, placing tobacco and all of those beautiful rituals that they have. Bring the wood back and they hammer it and keep hammering on it so that the layers inside, so the rings of the tree, the layers actually start separating. And that's how they start to make their baskets. And the base of the basket, a square one, the way that they weave the pieces of bark, not bark, pieces of wood, they do it in the four directions. And the circular ones, they do it in the four directions and four winds. Oh, it is mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing.
No,
Um,
I haven't read that one. Yeah.
oh, just incredible. And just how these beautiful narratives that are so gently woven into the way that the First Nations live. Similarly here in Africa with the Ubuntu teachings. And it's just, it's just such a pity that history has created this schism of separating people from those incredible teachings. And if that's, I mean, I know that, following the First Nations on Turtle Island, which is the whole of North America, there's so much of a rise of these energies. I mean, Janice, it must be nearly time for you to put the teepee back up again.
It is.
Um,
We wanted to put it up last weekend, but the weather wasn't cooperating. So, yes, it'll
and
go
just,
up hopefully this
you know,
week.
Oh, that's so
these,
fun.
these beautiful, beautiful, gentle energies that are just so incredibly profound. So
Yeah.
that's been one of my adventures over the last few weeks.
Oh, well, and let's just touch on that, like bringing the sacred in, because
Mm,
this week I had a few ladies over and we were working on creating incenses from herbs out of our gardens, and it was beautiful.
Oh,
But
so fun.
yeah, and every morning I start the morning. Most mornings. This morning I didn't get there because my grandson came at 7 in the morning. But um, I start by opening circle in the traditional way. It doesn't matter how you do it. bringing the sacred in, like, when you start to acknowledge the forces around us, the elements, the directions, the bigger, beautiful support teams that we have, before you actually do anything, when you bring that in, magic happens. Like, beautiful things come together. And sometimes, some days it's like, oh, I open circle and I don't really notice anything. And then it just depends on where your intention is, right? And then other days it's like, wow, anytime I open circle, it's always more powerful. Like, with
Mhm.
intention, it's always more powerful. Beautiful things come together, support flows in. And so before and that's kind of behind the ritual of prayer before you eat, gratitude for the food, and any circle that you create, when we can pause and go, okay, we're circling up together, but I know we're going to acknowledge the higher forces that are here with us. We're going to acknowledge that spirit team. We're going to acknowledge the angels in the four directions, the spirit keepers, like, whatever. It's incredible. It's incredible. And so, that alone, if you take that with you today, if for people watching, take that with you. And even if it's just lighting a candle and acknowledging and going, I know I'm not alone. Not sure who all is here, but I'm open to working with you of the highest truth and compassion. Like, I'm open, right?
It's being able to give them the permission as well, right? Like, if
True,
we don't
true
Mm.
that.
ask for the help and give them the permission, they're not gonna be able to.
Right. Yeah.
So it's that, they need your permission to be able to step in, and it's a piece that a lot of times, again, we forget to give ourself permission to allow for the support,
Yeah.
forget to give permission to have abundance.
Hmm.
Permission is a huge thing,
Well,
across the board
and
that
what
helps
showed
in
up
our
for
evolution. Sorry, Alana, go
no, no,
ahead.
no. I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
Um, what I was just thinking too was like actually I looked back at my journal on Monday. I wrote out like I was like, I want to be in more receivership, not just like from money and stuff, but like you said, of support, of really paying intentional about that connection with the higher power, whatever you feel it is, or like you said, if you don't even know what it is, or if you're sure of it. But I literally it was funny, I was, like, set that intention for the morning of, like, I wanna get into more feeling more, understanding, and experiencing receivership more, and
Mm.
as soon as I did, I opened up YouTube, and a YouTube meditation shows up of, like and music around receivership, and it was just like, "Of course." But what I wrote at the very top when I got halfway through my journal, just writing some things out, "Ask what I ask for is given." And I think, again, that intention of asking, there's always support, but we've never been taught how to receive it well. We've never been taught that there is, I mean, yes, there's the, like, obviously religion and God and like there's higher power, but I don't find it's a practice as much as it could be of
Mhm.
asking, intentionally asking for support.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's
Most of us are scared to ask for support because it makes us feel weak or too small or we are not enough.
mhm.
Or
Or that
needy
we're
and
somehow
or
failing, which is not true at all.
or I'm needy and,
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
kind of
So
but
many
that's
stories here.
yeah, there are lots of stories that sit underneath that. Um,
Well, and it comes back to, we talk about, especially as coaches and creating all these circles, we talk about the fact that, the lone wolf day is over. We need to do things as a collective, but that expands even further into we need to invite in all of that beautiful support that is with us. So, um, but I always do, and I'll say this, not that I worry about who I call in, but I always say those of highest, um, compassion and truth and intention. I always add that in, just to be clear. I don't want my past great uncle coming in who
Clarity is
isn't on
kindness.
the same page
Mhm.
as me. Yeah,
Entertaining only
clarity.
the highest, the purest, and the best in life. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, that's so beautiful. And it's incredible the support that you do get, the little winks from the universe, you know? The phone call, like, that you didn't expect of a friend checking in or
Or even, like I said,
it
like, opening up YouTube and getting the right message, or
yeah,
opening up social media and getting just, like, this, like, story that's like, "Oh, this is alignment. This is connection. This is support."
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
A friend of mine told me this morning how she had gone outside and found a feather, like, "Oh, I am surrounded. I am supported. There's magic all
Oh
around,"
my
right?
gosh. I have so
I
many
love
stories
that.
around that. Feathers are so beautiful. I I I remember we were camping the one day a couple years ago, and I was sitting outside in a lawn chair. My husband was gone fishing, um and I was just sitting there journaling and writing, and I thought, universe, I haven't gotten a feather in a long time. And I got up and I went into the trailer to get something, make a coffee or something, came back out, a great big raven feather sitting right at the bottom of the steps from the trailer. And I was just like, are you kidding? Thank you. That is amazing. And then another time I was at a retreat in the mountains and I went outside of the lodge, went for a walk up the back of the mountain and just spend some time alone. And I did the same thing. I was like, universe, I'd love to find a feather. That would be really cool. And, there was none, and I came back into the lodge, and as I entered the lodge, I was thinking, "Oh, well." As I entered the lodge, one of the other girls came up to me, she goes, "Oh my gosh, there you are, I have something for you." And she's like, "I've got one of my feathers I wanna give you." And it was she has a great big macaw bird at her house, and so she had brought me one of his big blue feathers, and I'm just like, "Are you kidding? Oh my gosh, I love this." So you can ask the universe, just ask and be open to whatever. It may come, days later or yeah, it shows up though. Universe, give me a little wink.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, what is meant for us will always arrive. Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know,
It-
even we're talking about manifestation, whether we're talking about universe speaking through things like feathers and things like that, it's also the lessons and the learning. What we're needing will arrive. And the liberation in knowing that nothing that happens to us, it happens for us, not to us. And nothing that happens for us is an accident, is a mistake, is anything. It's exactly what the polishing of our soul needs as we walk this journey and this pathway of life. And that's something that I have really come to understand on such a deeper level and to also make peace with.
Mm.
And that there are no mistakes. Mistakes is a 3D construct. Um, so yeah, interesting stuff. It's a monoculture construct, mistakes.
Mm, so much, so much, so much. Free will along with all of that, the choice to decide that it's happening for me instead of to me. It's all free will. And, um, where you place yourself, who you connect with. I know several of the ladies in my groups this week are talking about, disconnecting from certain friendship groups that are not serving anymore. And we've been talking a lot about how to remove yourself from that and whether you need to or not because there's also you can still have the friends with the surface level entertainment. Right? And then you can create new friendships with the deeper soul conversations. It doesn't all have to be around deep, you know, self-awareness because sometimes you just want to watch a movie on Netflix and that's okay.
Absolutely accurate, and it being able to pick and choose that free will of, do I have the capacity and the energy for that?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It's not about pulling away from people. It's about discerning, is this the right space for me to be in right now? And
yeah.
honoring that within yourself. right? That's the whole idea behind boundaries as well. And, setting up good, healthy boundaries is like learning a new language
Mhm. Mhm.
because it's
I
not
remember
something we've ever really been taught.
Mhm.
I remember a few weeks ago, Pam, you were talking about that event that you'd gone to, and the choice to just be in the space of joy and fun, as opposed to kind of the judging part of us that, well, we don't fit in here, or they don't fit in with us, and all the story that goes with that, and stepping out of the judgment and just, I can be here. I can be around these people. I don't have to stay long. If I don't want to, I can leave. Um, but it's also just about showing, we never know. We never, ever, ever know where and how our light shines. And we may never know how it impacts on somebody. Um, and that's not the point. And, that's the metrics and the analytics, and we don't. For me, it's irrelevant. It's I never know. And Janice, I think you alluded to that a little earlier as well. We never know when a post that we put up will speak to somebody. I mean, you were talking about people that have been joining your workshops from way back. I had the most interesting experience over the last 2 weeks of people, and women in particular, and I must tell you a bit of a funny story. Um, Women in particular that from 20, 25 years ago, that all of a sudden are back in my space again. And it's just been incredible to connect with them. So I want to kind of give a little bit of a contrast. I had this experience of dealing with this gentleman um, who runs a business on entrepreneurial development. It's just so funny when you step back and you see the difference of how men engage and how women, kind of operate. And we'd had a really, really good meeting, uh, 2 weeks ago. And I thought that there might be something that would come of it where we could do some work together in the entrepreneurial space. So I had another meeting with him last week. I'd already sent a conversation piece to carry on that just came flooding through from the world of spirit in terms of what could be done. So I asked him this question last week because he's got all the connections into that world, and he's been taking finance for non-financial managers out in all over the place. So I say to him, where can we do a pilot with the connections that you've got? So he goes, well, I've got something coming up in July where we look at the first 80 people. It's 3 hours. We'll squeeze you in. Going, heck no. Heck no. Squeeze what in? I can give you 20 minutes out of 3 hours. No, don't think so. Um, and then he goes, oh, these clients won't mind. I mean, they trust me, I can do my own thing. And I'm kind of just stepping back and going, dude, it's not how it works. It's transformation stuff that we're working with. You can't squeeze into 20 minutes. Um, and so, Pamela, you're talking about the permission to step away, the permission to step back and not engage,
Mhm.
because it just does not, we're not braiding any sweet grass with a 20-minute squeeze into a tube. And it's going to be happening. And just the contrast of how men think when it's all this linear, straight line thinking. Um, I mean, it's genetically, they're also genetically predisposed to do that because the masculine energy is and body is designed for hunting. And how women are just so different, and it's gentle, excuse me, and we take our time through this process. We don't squeeze people into anything. And it's just that
Mhm.
casting energy for me was just so, so interesting to just see how different it is. And that, yeah, I can step away. And how liberating is that?
Yeah.
Where before stepping into those kind of people pleasing, also driven from scarcity, that I have to twist myself into a pretzel to fit into somebody else's model of the world. No, no, because again, we have choice. We have the choice as to whether we are going to or not. And
Yeah, I
um,
was just about to say that, like the lack and the scarcity of like, oh, I need to, oh, I'm getting 20 minutes and feeling grateful for that when you're like, I know this is, I know. And like you said, awareness of the power of choice of I can say yes, but I can also say no.
yeah,
That's
yep.
beautiful. That's
And how
important.
those no's the no's become easier and easier and easier the more we know ourselves, and the more we know where we are working, the space that we're occupying, the work that we're stewarding through. and that it makes it so much easier to make those decisions and choices.
Mhm.
And
What
no
would you
in itself is a complete sentence.
full stop, period. I don't know if you guys use full stops in Canada or periods, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, full stop.
Both.
That's so good. Talking about boundaries. Yeah,
yep,
we are. And there's on the other end of that spectrum is the full yes. The hell yes, I'm
Yes.
in. Like,
oh
what?
yes, yep.
Yes, let's go. Let's feel alive. Let's do this. And I find too when I have moments in my life where I feel like I'm not as engaged as I usually am, the energy's dropped. I always kind of go, have I done anything courageous lately? Have I taken a leap anywhere? And, you know, found that edge and said, yes, I'm in, go. So I love both sides of that spectrum
Yeah.
of being able to
And
say,
Angela, you
no.
mentioning about that event where I was in the observation, and it was like, yeah, I don't have to stay in observation. I can go to play. Never mind the
Yeah,
observing.
yeah,
Play.
yeah, yeah. And the
Oh,
happy little inner child that goes, yes, thank
Yes.
you,
Yep.
yay.
yeah, yeah. And just,
Well, I just yeah.
oh, go ahead, Angela. Go ahead.
Oh, carry on, carry on.
I was gonna just share, and another topic that came up this week was, observing yourself when you walk into a room of powerful women. As I got to experience that this week, I went to a women's business networking social, which was a lot of fun, lots of laughs and giggles, but also, recognizing the different dynamics that were playing out and what I came away from was recognizing styles of power between people,
Mhm.
which was very interesting. Some women, were much more vocal, but they were also, funny and witty and quick. And so became the entertainment of the room and how that consumed space for that other women weren't invited into engage. So it was an interesting thing, but also to connect with how you respond to that. So it was a little bit of those boundaries too, and recognizing that your style of power may be very different, and it's not. Don't shrink. It's not about shrinking your power. It's about recognizing that you have a different style of power to bring into the circle. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I'll forget by next week.
Such a beautiful insight, though, of like paying attention to the energy that we bring into the room.
Yeah, we all bring
Yeah.
light, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
That is, also just picking up on the comment of saying you probably will not remember it this week, and I alluded to it earlier. I don't even remember what I said last week. And this is a function of being present and being in the now.
Uh-huh.
It's not about the fact that losing my memory. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with just being present.
Mhm.
Um, and that
Being
also,
present and trusting in intuition.
Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that for me is a big marker, kind of tick marker that I am not in my world either.
Yep.
That I've stepped through and out of my ego, and that I'm fully present. That's when I don't. It's kind of like, don't ask me what I wrote about this morning in my journaling because I don't remember.
Oh, such beautiful conversations. I have to go here, you guys. So,
That's okay.
yeah, I just want to thank you all for your beautiful wisdom and connection. And I think we all needed this morning. So I hope that it serves for those that are watching. Any last words from each of you?
Okay.
No, I think
Nope,
we've
I'm
summed it
good.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
Everybody.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. And we want to invite you to share, to leave your comment, to subscribe for sure. and share with your friends if you think these conversations would be beneficial for somebody that you know. Please spread this wide and let this light ripple out. And remember that as this circle closes, the light remains, and we will see you next week. All right. Bye, everyone.
Namaste.
Bye,
Big love,
everyone.
big love to everybody.
Yes.
Namaste.